YouTube, and I think it started off so positively when CJI started talking, and then I think it took a downturn and a downturn and a downturn.
The third speaker, yes.
Sorry?
The third speaker.
Yeah. By the time, I think, yeah. And then it felt like a, like a good that you're here, but we'll not do much for you. And I'm personally not a big fan of marriage. I've been there, done that. It's not worked. Straight marriage. But other than the institution, I think what it excited me was, I'm not a legal parent to my children. What it excited me was the way he spoke about adoption. I think that got all of us excited to say that there's a possibility that we can actually be a legal parent to these kids. That I think in about 20 minutes it was finished. So that dream died as quickly as it was born. So that's my personal experience. Yes. Please, but
No, but I was there when we were listening together, and Veena very greatly misunderstood what was being said.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, including the internet,
Everyone's like talking.
everyone live law and everyone started tweeting saying adoption given, and I was like, guys, are you not listening? He just said that it is wrong. That's all. He just said that Kara is out of its purview to say that gay people cannot adopt. That's all he said actually.
But he did talk eloquent about what
correct.
happens if gay people adopt and what happens.
It all sounded
However,
very positive when you were listening at it initially.
Unless you have a bent of due diligence in terms of every single word, it was hard to miss. I mean, it was easy to miss.
Yeah, and no, I'm also coming with the rainbow in my eyes, right? I want to hear the thing that I want to believe that we are there now. But yeah, that was kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Vishal, how about you?
Personally, if somebody would have told me in 2018, after the decriminalization of IPC 377 being let down, I would have never believed that after 5 years we will be talking about marriage equality. So I'm getting goosebumps as I talk about this, but so we've come way too far than what I expected, or I think most of us didn't expect, right, that we would be talking marriage equality so soon. So it's positive that the case went into the court, not just a conversation, the case went into the court. And we've not lost this like totality. There was a 5 judges bench, and the verdict was 3-2 for civil union, 3-2 for adoption. So we at least have 2 people talking on our behalf. I knew absolutely marriage as a right we wouldn't get it, but civil union I was hoping we'll get.
Yeah, let's come back to that in a bit. I'd like you to articulate what it made you feel like, because I think
because of how the proceedings went, because Justice Chandrachud was on the panel, who's been quite positive.
Right.
And the way we fought this, I thought that they could lead a special marriage act in a way where they could accommodate same-sex marriage.
Yeah.
Right.
And that is why I was hoping that civil union will be at least granted to us. If not, they'll not call it a marriage. Which we should get it also, because it's not just about rights, it's also about dignity and respect.
Yeah.
So we get civil union, we get the rights, that's fine, but we will also want it to be called marriage sooner or later. Like in Great Britain, in England, it happened, they called it civil union first, and again they kept on the fight, and now it's called marriage.
Yeah.
So we were sitting, all of us from the community like this, we'd gone to the District 8 Prevention Control Unit's office where we put up a big screen. I had a box of laddus ready with me for the verdict. I was very hopeful that this is going to happen. And when they started reading the verdict, and the 2 people who were positive, I think they spoke first, and they said that civil union yes, adoption yes, and I already started celebrating, but then I saw it's too confusing what is happening. After a while you realized no, overall this is like a no karke. So disappointment was there, but I think that made a lot of people talk about it. The conversation started within communities or people or age group where this was not being spoken about and people had not even heard about. Now even the staff at my store, the cleaning lady, knows about there's something like this is going on, and they are curious and they want to know, and they've got to know it, and now they've come and sided with us. They say, no, this is absolutely bullshit. You should have the equal rights. If you love someone, you should be allowed to marry. We might have lost the case, but overall I feel very hopeful and I feel very positive about the thing that has happened. And not also pointed out the mistake that we as community leaders have been doing for a very long time. We've not been engaging or actively participating in politics. We have not been engaging with politicians. We've done that mistake. We've went to everywhere. We've gone to the health sector. We've gone to the legislation. We are sensitizing corporate. We are doing a lot of great work, but you can count so many initiatives which are working with corporates. You can count so many initiatives which are working in HIV prevention and STIs. But can you even name 5 who are working with politics or anything? I know only one, the Pink List. Do we know any other initiative which is working on those lines or about? And that's such a major part of achieving rights, right? So I think that was a realization and that's a lesson that we need to learn, not just for the rights of the same-sex marriage, but any other rights we need in future, anti-discriminatory law or adoption or anything, we have to actively engage with our politicians. We have to actively participate in politics, and that was the realization was going on whenever the whole news was coming. So I did not have the time to grieve for the loss that we had, but I went into a mode that now next is what, and this is what I believe that we need to focus on primarily, like something that we've not been doing. We're doing everything else so far very good.
Yeah, let's pick that up again in a bit. But staying with this theme of reaction and responses, what was the broader sense? And you spoke about that, but also want to give the other panel members a chance to share your viewpoints in terms of experiences of not at the personal level, but broader community level, societal level. What were your perceptions of what other people, and we've touched upon that already, that there is awareness, but what was your kind of take on that, or experience rather?
Sorry, can you?
So families, co-workers, like other than yourself, like,
what was the impact of this verdict on the society at large?
Did
apart from
you
outside the
have
community?
Did you have any other reactions or perspectives other than like one we shared?
I have actively actually stayed away from this.
That makes sense.
If that makes sense. I don't know. I mean, I'm out to my family, but they don't accept it. So our relationship is in denial, or whatever. Like we have some relationship which is of parent and child. So at the back of my mind, yes, I was hoping my dad is following the news, because he quite actively follows news. And I thought he would say something, but he didn't say anything. I was kind of actually hoping something will happen in my cousin's WhatsApp group, but nothing happened. They are all very vocal
WhatsApp
about
group.
Congress winning and BJP losing.
We can do a whole session on WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
Couldn't we?
So I was pretty actually surprised it didn't come up, because these spaces were very quick to talk about BJP losing, like very fast. It was even before the results in Karnataka were announced. These groups were active and to shut down Congress very fast. So I was wondering why they are not shutting down gay people yet. Because it's not like the newspapers tucked away the news somewhere. It was front page news.
Yeah, so if we stay with that, why do you think that is?
I don't know, I feel like they still don't get it. I just feel like it is like it's very easy to just close your eyes and be like, this does not exist.
You don't open the Pandora box.
Also, they have
I don't know if they want to, I don't even know if it is that meta. I just feel like it's just Western. Ignore this headline.
But they do not realize the impact of their ignorance, Somebody in their family, their workplace, their school, college will be poor, and the ignorance is costing somebody to, die by suicide. It's costing somebody being raped in some corner for correcting them of their homosexuality. So probably we need to highlight the impact of their ignorance to them also.
Yeah.
That's a great point, and also, in terms of intersectionality, that goes into the argument that kept coming up throughout the proceedings about this whole urban-rural Western concept, right? Like, perhaps you guys want to speak a bit to
And
that.
Michelle was just talking about how
Right.
I think I'm starting to learn more and more that probably urban spaces are getting a little, what do you call it, overcrowded, saturated. I have noticed when, for whatever reasons, whether it's one of the Maya Bazaars or whatever, when we have gone to the smaller towns, I've always noticed that there are here people present. They may not be living out and about lives like we are, wearing the rainbow every chance we get. They may not get the concept of the rainbow either. What I'm realizing more and more is, one is that there is a saturation of sorts in urban spaces, whether it is queer or anything, community-wise. Two, even with everything that's, I think just 377 being read down was such a, there are lots of issues with all of it, but I think people are coming out of the cracks. It's just the fact that it's not illegal, that we are not illegal anymore. I think what it's doing is it's giving a lot of people courage that they don't have to deal with law and order, something that we lay people don't understand. So that I think is and of course the conversations are very, very important. The fact that it did, and that's a great point, the fact that it did go to Supreme Court, the fact that we are talking about this at some point. Because when you look at it in simple terms, if you have had friends who are like just inter-religion married, and then you see the Special Marriage Act, it seems so simple to just change it to spouse. Why the heck is that so hard? But it's great that the conversation started. It's lovely that people are, that if not anything, it's going into the drawing rooms. I don't know about first page news. I don't know how much that is doing to the world really, but at least the fact that there are conversations. There are conversations in drawing rooms. There are conversations in social gatherings where people are talking about somebody did not get a right to their child. Let's have a drink about it, and talk about how sad that is.
Just to add one more thing, when we first started and we talked about this concept of this is Western, this is urban, this is elite, this is English speaking. I don't know if almost 7, 8 years, 9 years, long time ago, NDTV did a feature on two men who were married, living in some village, who are deeply in love with each other.
That's from Maharashtra.
Yeah, and
That's a rural area.
yeah, rural area. And there were so many lesbians who came to the city begging that city's commissioner or the head of police or whoever authority that they could find, saying, get us married because our parents are whatever. So, it's so easily forgotten that the people who actually came to the cities to find this identity of marriage as a safe space came from rural.
Do you think then also it's probably a reflection of broader, societal trends, right? Like with the whole news cycle piece and how we approach any news for this matter, right? Like it doesn't have even like of course corrective rape and those kind of things are a special case, but rape in general, right? Like there's news and then it's like it just disappears. I don't know if you want to speak to that or any other broader societal trends as such, which probably are negatively impacting what we are trying to do as well.
I feel like the concept of marriage itself is being questioned right now with everything that's going on, and this is because knowledge has become freely accessible. I come from an age, I'm a 70s child, I'm a late 70s child, so I'm not seeing.
Yeah, I'm also surprised. How old are you? I'm like, I used to think I look very young for my age.
I'm too old to be married also. No, but we did not. We've seen TV for the first time when we were, with our own eyes. We were not born into a house with TV. So, and now there's a big. I was in a small town. When I first had my first girl relationship, I was in a small town, and we were all like, this did not happen, right? And I suppressed that for whatever 10 years, 12 years of my life, 15 years of my life. But while that concept of marriage itself is being questioned, I like where that is going. It doesn't. I feel like we need to start talking about friendships as stronger bonds. More, I think that's where I feel personally. I feel like that's where the trend is headed. If you're talking about trends itself,
Right.
I see the need to not put all your eggs, and I'm not talking poly, okay? I'm just talking about eggs. It makes sense. It almost makes sense to diversify. Again, not talking about diversity. Still talking just about diversify. Why would I put all my? It's a lot of pressure on one person. That's what marriage is, right? It's a lot of pressure. I personally don't understand why two friends cannot decide to share their finances, their home, their children, their lives together. I mean, sex or no sex, that's a completely different thing. But why do we have to, why does it have to be so exclusive? Why can't three people?
Right.
Yeah, the Supreme Court is. They don't want. But imagine, like, just think of that, right? Three people in a marriage, right? It does blow our mind, but it does not seem like it. We've seen three people friends.
Yes.
How many films have we seen where there are three friends who are like,
जिंदगी ना मिले दोबारा.
देखो, हाँ देखो, and they seem strong friendships, right? They seem like strong friendships. So I feel like there is that trend is changing, and I felt like somewhere if Special Marriage Act could have accommodated for or even civil unions for that matter. Why strike down the concept of civil unions? Right? Why can't we have civil unions which are more than romantic relationships? Which include, it does not always have to be and it does not always have to be two people.
Yeah, I mean, if we embrace the full meaning of the word civil union, right?
Also, I absolutely agree with them. For me, marriage is basically a starting point for a new family. And a family is a right that we all need. But a family just doesn't have to be a man and a woman and a child. It can be a man and a man and a woman. Two friends living together could be family.
Yes.
So we need to rethink the definition of family and hence marriage, like you say, or civil unions. If marriage is just about romantic partners, civil unions, it could be about two friends who make a commitment of being there for each other and sharing each other's lives and whatever the resources they have. So I absolutely agree with that point, and that doesn't have to be just two people, sorry. It can be three, it can be four.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So how do you perceive this changing in terms of the trajectory of the movement, the broader movement, and also clearly there is kind of a disconnect or a gap or whatever on the rural-urban divide, which they very masterfully played, I would say. Any thoughts on how to kind of address that?
something that really triggered me when Justice Chandrachud said we need to look at incremental progress is now what I am suddenly feeling as an answer to what you are asking me. So let's take one step at a time.
Right.
As far as rights are concerned, about let's have same-sex marriage or marriage equality, not same-sex, sorry, marriage equality first, and then polyamorous marriage and everything.
I didn't say that word.
I am saying it. I will it. So, and about the urban-rural divide, I am from a small town,
Right.
and I run an initiative where majority of people who turn up to our events are from panchayat, gram panchayats, and places where the population is not even like 25 families. So this divide or this thing where people say it's just a urban elitist concept, ask them to come and live for a few weeks with me in Kolhapur.
There you have a reference point now.
Yes.
Great. So, in terms of the positive things that came from the decision, and how we can probably try to build on that. Any
The
thoughts?
reading on the trans marriage was very nice.
Right.
Just the fact that they said it out aloud.
Right.
That was great, I thought.
Right.
I don't think that validation has been given. Like
Yeah.
we've not received it yet from their mouths. We've been doing it.
Yeah.
I have met a few people who are married, trans
Mhm.
men, trans women,
Right.
cis men with trans women.
Right.
And it seems almost like, how did you do it? But it seems quite, yeah.
So you're saying the
self-explanatory.
operational reality of it is actually more easier.
I
than
think that's what
our
happens.
perception of it.
Yes. So what happens is we lead the way for the law to follow. The more we are out, the more pressure the politicians feel, the more pressure Parliament feels, the more pressure courts feel, to do some, police feels, to do something about it. So one of the things that we did this time at my bazaar, for instance, was where we engaged with the police. I was, for myself, physically scared of police and gay people in the same space. It's not the safest space. And we were all a little worried about that. All of us organizers we were very mindful of that fact.
And the people engaging with the police, I mean, I worked with Veena on my bazaar, and especially at that moment when the battalion of police have arrived because commissioner has come with a body cam. All of them are with body cams, and it was just so intimidating. And our receiving people are not men. Firstly, like that is also not something they are used to. They are looking around like this, like who to ask something, and I'm standing right there. They're not even like looking at me to ask me, and then I said, "Sir, do you need something?"
And you were wearing a radium.
Yeah, I was.
She could not have been missed, right?
Yeah, because
Gender invisibility.
yeah, because we decided that volunteers should wear this radium jacket thing, so we are identifiable.
Right.
So he's looking at me. So you know what I mean, like. So that itself was little scary. Like, forget if they were aware of LGBT or not. They're not used to cis women standing there and organizing and running around, and the men taking a back seat.
Right.
So that itself was scary in a certain way.
In a certain way, that and the fact that what we had created once that gate was closed once, the moment we enter that gate, it's our world. So we are we're not policing anyone there. You be yourself completely, and you know how law and order treats us, right? So in some way, we were inviting them into our space, which was not the most comfortable space to be in. But these things are. I don't know why I said this. What was the point?
Sorry, I'm flowing with you.
We were
But,
talking about the positive that came out, and
Yes.
then one thing led to another, and we are here now. But that's how the conversation should go, like
Yeah.
covering everything, limiting ourselves to these
Yes.
things.
So they know a lot about. So police know so much about trans people.
Yes.
So much and lots of wrong information. They think they know everything. They don't.
They know about trans women,
Yeah, and
not trans people.
people. Yeah, trans women mostly, and for a certain reason, and the way they talk about trans women is so
Derogatory.
not just derogatory. It's like it's even more like condescending almost. You're dehumanizing. It's like it's so away from yourself, and it feels like and we have Akai standing on stage there. Bloody powerful for what, I'm sorry.
So we haven't said the word, but yeah, I mean, patriarchy is a dimension across the spectrum. Doesn't
Sure.
matter, right? Like you're gay, straight, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's the moment you are perceived as not conforming to that setup. There's consequences sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. But what happened with reading the trans marriage thing
Right.
was, I think, that little bit of validation,
Right.
that little bit of Chal, I don't have to conform to your ideas of what a
Yeah.
male-female marriage needs to look
Right.
like. I think that was positive.
So, kind of expanding that out a little bit, there was talk about like the state governments can do something. Police is a state subject. Anything you'd like to
So,
think about that?